on page 3 of the Chicago Tribune. It's a headline, "Am I Willing to Die for This?" She's white, she's 73, and she's on a 40-day hunger strike for slavery reparations. We're talking to Rachelle Zola right now. And Rachelle, thanks for joining us here today.
Oh, John, thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah, and well, it's just fascinating. I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about reparations, whether they should happen or should not. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I first just want to get to, what day are you on of this 40-day hunger strike?
36.
You're 36 days in, and are you on an all-liquid diet? I'm just curious about how this works for you, how it's feeling, what is happening right now?
So Friday will be my last day. It's the 40th day, which is for HR 40. I didn't know that when we started out, but it seems very appropriate. But yes, I'm on water, Pedialyte with an electrolyte, and I'm on bone broth. And I drink like 110 ounces a day of liquid.
Are you okay physically?
Yes, I am. The only thing that really has happened, I get a little lightheaded, a little easier. So because of the humidity also, but besides that, I feel excellent. Everybody should go on this diet.
Again, we'll get to the substance in a second, but I just want to know, just from have you talked to doctors about this? Are you concerned at all about it, or what?
No, I do all the oxygen, and I do my temperature, and I do my blood pressure. It's exactly the same as when I started 36 days ago. And, doctors just said, be cautious. Just how are you feeling? How are you reacting? And I've been perfectly fine. So I'm very excited that, when I started this, I kept telling people, because I had friends were saying to me, you're going to die,
Right.
And, so, no, there was a huge concern. So I'm not kidding around about that. But I also knew that I was going to remain healthy. I was supposed to do this. And so my voice is only getting stronger. It's not getting weaker from this.
All right, well, let's get to that because it's fascinating. The story, your entire story is incredible, Rachelle, and your journey that you've been on. So you're 73, and you've just come to Chicago within the last couple of years. Tell us about a little bit. You could go on forever. You joined the Peace Corps at the age of 59. But give us the highlights of how you got to where you are right now and fighting for this cause.
Well, I was supposed to come to Chicago. I was helping out a friend in Tucson. I had been living out of the country. And I just knew I was supposed to come to Chicago. I'd never been here before. I didn't know anyone. And it was just this very clear message to me that I was supposed to be in the Black and brown community, that I had something, I needed to listen. I had something to learn. So I hit the ground running. I got here, and the first day I was in North Lawndale, and I was walking around, and I met people at I can't think of the name of it, but it's once a year with the police officers, with the police and the community. They get together.
Okay.
And I was looking for food because I hadn't eaten all day, and the woman said it's a food desert, which, again, being who I am, I hadn't heard of that expression. It wasn't something that I grew up with. And there they are, and they have hot dogs. So I got fed. And I met people. So I really feel that, to say I've been guided in the sense that I keep meeting people I'm supposed to meet. So I went to every meeting organization. I started with the North Lawndale Restorative Justice Court, and then I met people in Englewood, and I met people in Garfield, and I met people in Austin. And every day I went somewhere, and literally people kept saying, this white woman keeps showing up. And so is that really, and I am somebody who loves having relationships. So I spoke to everyone, and they were willing to speak to me. And the more they spoke to me, the more they were willing to share, and the depth of the harm. I kept hearing story after story after story, John. And it was like, so this is where I now know I am, and I want people to maybe appreciate this. I thought I knew, and I didn't have a clue. I really didn't have a clue to the depth of the damage every single day, that African Americans don't feel safe. I feel safe when I walk out the street. African Americans are being targeted in ways large and small that are impacting their daily lives. How do you walk out of your home already having the stress, am I going to be stopped? Am I going to be able to walk in a store and someone not following me around? Can I walk down a street that I've never walked down before? These are things I never thought about. And now every day I think about it. Every day.
Where do you live right now, Rachelle?
I live in Little Village, so a Latino community.
Yeah. So,
and I did that very deliberately. Again, I wasn't going to commute to an area.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I want to live in the area that I'm trying to learn about.
Your move to Chicago, and you said you had a feeling that you needed to live amongst black and brown people. Where did that come from? Like, is it just one day you wake up and you realize that, or had it been a slow realization that was what your mission was?
No, it wasn't. No, yes. I woke up one day because I was literally thinking I wanted to go back to Jordan because I have family there. That's what I call them. You know, I have family. I've been back there since, but I thought I'd go there. And
that's
then I
where
was
you
thinking,
were
I'd
for
love
the
to go
Peace
back
Corps.
and see the kids.
That's where you were for the Peace Corps in Jordan, right?
That's where it was for the Peace Corps, correct. And I lived in Ecuador for a year, worked volunteering at a children's home, which I'd also been back to, but it was like, boy, I'd love to get back to see the children. And yes, this was like, no, you're going to Chicago.
So I think it's a noble fight. Does anyone ever say you're crazy?
Oh, all the time.
Doesn't bother you?
Yes, but yes, and people say, who do you think you are? And I say, I'm Rachelle. It's this idea that I felt rage when I've heard things on the radio, but I didn't, or the news or wherever, but I didn't know that I could get involved. I really didn't think that. It was like, I'm not in politics. I don't have the money. I don't know people of influence. And so me now, it's like, I do want to change the nature of our systems in the sense that each of us can really make a difference. And I'm so excited about that. And I really do trust that there's a huge majority of people who actually think as I do, but no one ever knocked on their door and said, come join us. And I say that because I've knocked on people's doors for a different reason, and they've said, thank you, we didn't know what to do.
Right. Well, I think we struggle.
Where I'm coming from.
I struggled with that this morning. I woke up, I saw a terrible video of a gunshot victim in the Humble Park neighborhood. I think every Monday, John Williams, I'm filling in for him today, though, has the same struggle we all do. We hear about the violence, we have to talk about it, and then we shake our heads and say, I don't know what to do. This just seems like there's do nothing and complain about it, and then there's doing what you're doing, and I feel like, is there a middle ground there? Like, what would you recommend for people to get involved in something but not necessarily relocate themselves completely to live in a different community?
Well, the first thing, what I want people to do in this case, very specifically, and I keep saying that, I say that on TikTok every day, and I want to call out to Dominican their Trust Racial Healing and Transformation. They started this kickoff of My Hunger Strike on May 16th. And they believe in reparations and St. Agatha Catholic Church. And I have other assets. I'm talking to NAACP. But the answer to that, for me, is I want the conversation. So I'm asking everyone, I don't care what political party you belong to. This is my simple ask. Contact your representative and tell them to vote for H.R. 40. I so badly want this, John, just to have the conversation. We have hidden so much information in this country. Unfortunately, we've done that. The Tulsa massacre was a perfect example of that. I mean, people were traumatized. You say, why wouldn't black people come out? I'd be afraid for my life. People came out and slaughtered them. Mm-hmm. How do you come out after that trauma and just say, oh, by the way, this just happened? So we need, as a people, and I trust this so strongly, that make that contact and say, I want to hear the truth. That's what I want. And I think, John, that most people want that. So that's an easy step. And then tell 10 of your friends to do that. And they will tell 10. Because we need millions of people to do this. This isn't just a few thousand people.
What would you say, Rachelle, to people that would read your story, and it's a great read in the Tribune today, and say, look, I'm white. I wasn't part of the system of slavery. It was a long time ago. Reparations don't seem to fall in line with what I want. And you're just trying to make me feel guilty. What do you say to people that think that?
Well, first of all, I don't feel guilty. I tell people that all the time. What I do feel is a responsibility that I didn't even know I had. As I mentioned in the thing, it's like my silence, I didn't realize the systemic racism that goes on every day. And so to answer that, we still owe a debt, whatever that looks like, and that's the reason for having this commission. But we have to look at that there's still economic and social disparities, inequities that go on today. So, yes, I understand we didn't own people, but I do understand very clearly the systems that were from that legacy are still very much apparent today. So that's what I would say to people, that we did it, and I'm going to say not from guilt, and I don't want them to get defensive, which is what they do, exactly what you were referring to, John. It's not about that. It's like, just sit and listen. Listen to their lived experiences, which are very different from mine. And I wouldn't have gotten that out of a book.
Rachelle, I think a lot of people...
that's what I'm asking people.
I think a lot of people have the same motivate, like, I want to help. But there is a danger, and maybe even well-meaning people that don't intend to do this, where you visit a neighborhood that you don't know, or you have a solution that you are pushing on to other people. Did you ever have a concern, or have you ever heard from people that saying, why is this white lady coming here telling us what to do? Or do you feel like the key is the way you approach it, which is live there and listen?
Oh, I'm not telling them what to do at all. That's why they're willing to have me in their communities. I'm very clear that, and it says that our mission statement is, our mission is the commission. So this is my piece as a white person. I want to get the commission established so all of us can listen to the truth of what's been going on. So there's not one truth in California and one truth in Florida and another truth in Texas. I want everyone to hear what has been going on for these 400 years, and then the Black community is going to tell us, what does reparations look like? I can have ideas, but that is not my job as a white person. I am very clear, and they're very clear. I tell that to everyone. My responsibility, and that's why I'm saying everybody contact their representatives or senators, is because that's my piece. Let's finally give a platform to our full history. Does that make sense to what I've just said?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I want. So no, I get out of the way. Yeah. This white body, this voice, and I will support them. Absolutely, I will accompany them, whatever, what that looks like.
Right.
But no, that is not my job.
Page 3 of the Chicago Tribune, am I willing to die for this? Rachelle Zola, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, John. I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you.
More after this on WGN.